Hi, I'm Carter Offigan. I'm a FEMBA class of 2021, and I work as a private chef and caterer, a food industry entrepreneur, and a part-time organizational strategy and management consultant. I chose UCLA for my MBA to pursue entrepreneurship. I had been running my own business for quite a few years and felt like my intuition had gotten me pretty far, but I really wanted the academic and professional grounding of an MBA to take those next steps forward confidently. I chose UCLA specifically because I grew up here, because my professional network was here in LA, and going to UCLA and FEMBA specifically allowed me to keep nurturing those relationships and have my hands in a bunch of different things. I tend to be somebody who likes to be working on a lot of different projects at once, and the part-time program allowed me to keep spinning all of those plates in a way that felt really satisfying and challenging, and it allowed me to experiment from this foundation to launch from. And it's been unbelievably rewarding and surprising, and I can't believe it's almost over. So I chose BCO for my field study because I had always worked on my own and had always brought ideas to life independently. And I really wanted the experience of working with a team, collaborating with a team, and ultimately leading a team. I applied to Anderson with an idea for a food tech business that was an app to support people hosting small-scale dinner parties in their homes. And I didn't have the technical expertise to bring that to life. I had a ton of passion and the food expertise, but I really wanted to surround myself with other kinds of business minds who could help me flesh out this idea. And I took the idea through BPD and EVI, and then as a team, during BCO, we had the incredible opportunity and challenge of pivoting the idea because of COVID. And, as I'm sure you can imagine, launching a business around people gathering in private homes wasn't going to prove important amidst the COVID pandemic. And so over the course of the past 6 months, our team worked tirelessly to pivot the idea to something that could withstand the moment and continue to prove useful after the COVID pandemic was over. Prior to the BCO process, I was really scared to bring other people into my ideation process. And at every step of the way, when I talked about the business, worked on it with the team, got feedback, iterated, the idea got better and the work got better. And I think it has absolutely affirmed for me the value of teamwork and the value of collaboration. It's also been a great opportunity to practice managing a team and instilling a kind of empathy and compassion and communication style that amongst a team, I think ultimately leads to the best work. So I feel incredibly fortunate to have gotten to take the idea through the whole BCO business plan development process. And as we look ahead, the idea looks very different than it did when I wrote about it in my application. And it's so much stronger and so much more interesting, and ultimately I think has the potential to impact so many more people than it did in its earlier form. So I'm really excited to see where it leads. And I have teammates that have gone on this wild journey with me and believed in it from the beginning. And to be able to graduate with teammates who became friends and friends who became teammates and feel like we're all working on this thing together was a really surprising experience, I think. I had only ever imagined what I independently would feel going through the BCO experience. And to go through it with others was really powerful and empowering and just so deeply gratifying. So having just completed BCO, I'm really excited to take what I learned forward in my career and life post-MBA. We're moving forward with our idea with plans to develop the platform and launch in the next year. And, I think I learned 2 really important lessons from the BCO process. Well, more than 2, but I'll mention 2. One was specifically the value of flexibility and the value of adaptability, and not letting ego get in the way of data and research. And secondly, the importance of building a business that felt aligned with my values and beliefs about what the food world can and should look like. Alongside the BCO process, I was also serving as one of Anderson's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion fellows under Heather Crusoe, the Dean of EDI at Anderson. And to be doing that work in parallel to BCO felt like no coincidence to me. And, it really reinforced the importance of building a food business that celebrated the diversity of the food world and the diversity of cooking and flavors and history that we all love so much, but don't often give the attention they deserve. So it's been really impactful for me to be building a food business that feels like it's doing that, and that feels like it's explicitly designed to support chefs and give chefs another platform both to monetize their work and to be valued appropriately, but also to introduce home cooks to food that they might not otherwise have had the chance to taste or cook for themselves. So I'm grateful to have gotten to do those things alongside each other and to be part of making an impact that will strengthen the Anderson culture, that will enrich the Anderson culture, and that I hope will long outlast my time as an Anderson student. I'm so honored to be selected by the Anderson faculty as a Voice of FEMBA for BCO. I hope that my story and my experience encourages you to apply first and foremost, especially if you don't see yourself as a traditional MBA candidate. There's so much that you can bring to class and to the community, and your perspective is so valued and so important and so wanted at Anderson. And secondly, I hope that it encourages you to share your ideas with other people and to say them out loud and to let people in and not to be afraid that anyone's going to criticize or judge or steal them. Simply the fact that you're imagining a business and looking at a problem in the world and thinking of a new solution is courageous and it's important. And I hope you give yourself permission to do that out loud and to do that at Anderson. Thanks for listening.